Have you ever had a dream that you are at an unknown location? Or have you dreamt that you are at a specific location or place, but you didn't know why? Well, let's talk about 6 places that you've seen in your dreams. In a dream, the environment you find yourself in is important to the meaning of the dream. The place or location can have a positive or negative meaning depending on the context of the dream. Always remember that context is king, and you should always look at what's taking place inside of the dream. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 6 places and locations that you've seen in your dreams. Number 1, a garden. A garden is a place where something is cultivated or grown. You may have a dream that you're in a flower garden where you're surrounded by beautiful plants and flowers. Or you may have a dream where you're walking through a vegetable garden or even a cornfield. This type of dream would be showing that you're in a season of spiritual or emotional growth. It would show that you are thriving and making progress in a certain area of your life. Now, if you dream that you're in a garden, but you're planting seeds and watering the ground, this would represent sowing in some respect. It could mean that God is encouraging you to sow a financial or material seed into someone's life or ministry, or to sow and give of your time to help others. By the way, if you have a dream you're walking through a cornfield, that would be showing that a harvest is coming your way, since corn in a dream can represent a harvest. Number 2, the forest. Depending on what's happening in the dream, a forest dream can be positive or negative. For example, someone once had a dream that they were walking through a forest, and when they were deep into the forest, they came upon a beautiful house with many beautiful items inside just for them. So positively speaking, a forest can represent experiencing the deep and hidden things of God. Daniel 2:22 says, "He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him." Since a forest has many trees, it can also represent a place of strength, joy, and abundance. David said in Psalm 96, "Let the fields and their crops burst out with joy. Let the trees of the forest sing for joy." The negative meaning of a forest could be showing a season of obscurity. In other words, you can't see clearly where you're going, you don't know where God is leading you, or you may be confused as to which direction you should take in a certain area of your life. Now, this would also be true if you're lost in the forest. In other words, in the dream, you know specifically that you are lost. You don't know where you're at. This would represent feeling lost in a certain area of your life. You can also have a dream where you're walking through the forest and suddenly a vicious animal confronts you, or you see Bigfoot walking through the forest. Some people have had dreams like that. This would be speaking of a time of trials where the enemy is trying to attack you, to stop you from moving forward in life. The enemy is trying to incite fear and intimidation. Number 3, outer space. So you can have a dream where you're in outer space, you're seeing the stars, sun, and the moon. This would be speaking of spiritual growth and maturity, and it would be showing that you're going higher in the things of the Spirit and that you're drawing closer to God. Now, this would also mean that as you draw closer to God, your spiritual perspective or view would change. In other words, you would begin to see your life or God's plan for your life from a higher perspective. Outer space would represent the spirit realm and the heavenly places. Paul said in Ephesians 2, "But God, who is rich in mercy because of his great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved, and raised us up together and made us sit together in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Now, you can have a dream that you're specifically on the moon. Have you ever had a dream like that where you found yourself on the moon? Well, the moon's primary function is to reflect the sun's light, which in a dream is a metaphor for reflecting God's light in the world. So just as the moon shines at night, believers are called to shine God's light, reflecting his glory and truth to others in a dark world. So the moon in a dream can represent the church at large. Jesus said in Matthew 5, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Number 4, a library. A library is a place that houses books of all kinds. For that reason, a library in a dream would represent wisdom and knowledge. So dreaming you're in a library or you're in a place with many books would be showing that you're in a season of learning, and it could also be speaking of a need for spiritual or natural education in a certain area of your life. It may be that you're unaware or unknowledgeable in a certain area, and God is showing that more education is needed. So if you have a dream like this, you would pray and ask God to reveal what are the areas in your life where you're lacking knowledge. Also, being in a library can be showing that you'll receive new ideas and information that brings increase into your life. Number 5, you're on an unknown street. You can have a dream where you're standing or you're walking down an unknown street. In the dream, you don't know what street you're on or where you're at. This type of dream can be symbolic of a time of uncertainty, a lack of clear direction in life, or a feeling of being lost on your spiritual path or life's journey. It may also be indicating that you may be confused as to what you should be doing in your life at the current moment, or which road you should take in life. Walking down an unknown street may also mean that you feel isolated and all alone as you navigate through life. So if this is the case, you must make the choice to trust and lean on God during times of confusion in your life. Psalms 37 says, "The steps of a man are established by the Lord, and he delights in his way. When he falls, he will not be hurled down, because the Lord is the one who holds his hand." Number 6, a cemetery. Keep in mind that dreams are highly symbolic, so dreaming about a cemetery or a graveyard usually doesn't speak of physical death, although it could be speaking of physical death, but it usually means that something is coming to an end, such as the end of a season of life, the end of a career, or the end of a relationship. It could also be showing that the dreamer needs to die in their flesh. In other words, they need to put to death the old nature and sinful ways and lifestyles. Or it could mean that the dreamer needs to become selfless, putting the needs of others before themselves. Paul said in Romans 8:13, "For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live." Negatively speaking, a cemetery or graveyard can represent a spirit of death and depression that surrounds or plagues the dreamer, in which case this spirit would need to be casted out. Have you ever had a dream that you were in a cemetery or graveyard? If so, I want to hear about it. Leave it in the comments section. Hey, have you picked up your copy of The Mysterious Language of Dreams yet? In this book, I go more in depth about dreams and dream interpretation than I do on my YouTube videos. I talk about the depth dimension of dreams, dream layers. I talk about the time dimension of a dream. Also, dreams and the imagination, which is quite interesting. I also have put over 40 real-life actual dreams that people have dreamt in the book for you to practice your interpretation skills. Also in the back of the book is a dream dictionary with over 400 dream symbols. So I've left a link in the description box below where you can go and pick up your copy of The Mysterious Language of Dreams today. New book cover, same book. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'll talk to you all next time.